What's going on with y'all, fam? We back with another one. You know what to do. Tap in, tune in, lock in, smash the like button, leave comments in the comment section. Shout out to the returning subs. Shout out to the new subscribers. Please, please, please hype this video, like this video. And listen, I got some great news before I get into the message. I know you see the title of the video. I know that you see it's an hour long. There's a lot of information in this video, so I needed to do a quick 1 to 2 minute intro to give you guys some good news. So for all the Hidden Hills fans, music will be being re-released on Spotify and Apple Music over the next 6 months. Fall is approaching. That is my favorite time of year. That is when the albums are meant to be listened to. Is when everything is changing. The leaves are turning orange and red, and the air is getting crispy, and you are out traveling in nature, camping, hiking, working out, at your job, wherever it is. Hidden Hills is being re-released on all platforms. I'm super excited. It has been quite some time since I was able to release music on these platforms, but part 1, Hidden Hills 1, which is 9 tracks, comes out this Friday. Part 2 and 3 will be re-released in September. The perfect time to listen to both of those albums is September. So if you haven't heard them, please go follow me on Spotify and Apple. You can find these links in the description as well as my community post. So if you are not subscribed and you do not have the bell on, please do so you can be updated. There is a new Spotify link and I think a new Apple link that I will be providing on my platform, in my community post, and on the descriptions of my videos. I am an independent artist. I don't have a lot of support outside of the people that give me the chance, which are y'all, on my music. So if you could purchase the albums, if you have yet to hear them or you like them and you know you like them, please purchase them while they're available on Apple Music. Please stream them while it's available on Spotify. So from the rest of July all the way till December, we got Hidden Hills 1, 2, 3, and 4 being re-released to set the mood for the fall. You can't have fall without a little bit of justice in your ear. Like I said, a little bit of Hidden Hills going in the background on your adventures. That's why I created the music, to give you something to listen to while you're doing something productive. Hopefully it's getting out in nature or traveling or camping or working out, something like that. But yeah, shout out to everybody again. If you haven't heard my music, please give me the opportunity and chance. And I love each and every one of you guys. Stay up to date, like I said, by following my community posts. We're gonna get straight into this video now. It is an hour worth of information. I apologize for the long video, but hopefully you can watch it in increments. Make sure you stick around to the end because there's a lot of information packed into it. It is basically just me explaining and discussing the spiritual world and realm that we're in, the war that we're all facing, what it comes with, what you may experience, just advice, tips, pointers, things I've learned, scriptures, all kinds of stuff throughout the video. So make sure you stay to the end. I'm off of here for now. Hidden Hills is being re-released. I'm excited. I love you guys so much. Get straight into the video, man. Make sure you hit the like button and hit subscribe. We're going to be rattling information off quickly. Everybody stay aware. Everybody get the notepad out. Whatever you got to do, write this stuff down. Your awareness is what scares and upsets this world and this matrix and the darkness around you, okay? So pretty much this video is going to be, I don't know, an awakening video. Spiritual awakening if you're going through any kind of warfare, if you're waking up to the truth, if you are now stepping into deeper understanding of this realm and of your life and of your relationship with Christ. Hopefully this video can help you in some kind of way. A lot of different stuff that I wrote down with God. I feel like there's a ton of stuff in here that people need to hear, that people need to be reminded of. And yeah, let's just get into it, okay? When you wake up to reality, right? No pun intended, welcome to reality is on the way. But when you wake up to the reality, the real truth of Christ, of yourself, of this world, you're going to be hated and attacked by this matrix and its creators. God is the creator of all. But Satan and darkness has been given power, okay, has been given some authority on this earth, in this world, to, you know, have dominion and rule over certain places, people, and things. And we have to have discernment. Discernment that's given to you by God is one of the most hated things on this planet. The world does not like joy. The world does not like peace. And it definitely does not like your discernment, your awareness. Okay, this is what makes people hate you. This is what makes people reject you. I like to call them the players of this game, right? Even though life is not a game, There are players, NPCs, there are people around you who will be used by Satan, will be used by their flesh to manipulate you, to deceive you, to distract you, and to basically just put you off of your purpose, get you off of your calling, get you out of what you are here to do on this earth on a deep and thorough level. You need to understand that it's your discernment and it's your awareness when God equips you that irritates these people's demons. This is what makes people want to try their hardest at times to get over on you, to challenge you, okay, and to see if they can stop or distract what you are doing. Even though most people are unaware that they are a distraction in your life, you must be aware and take everything before God. Okay, he doesn't give you discernment and knowledge and all of this stuff so you don't apply it, so you don't utilize it. A lot of people in this world are distracted. Okay, it's a default setting in this world. Distraction is a default setting for most individuals. Okay, when you step outside of the distractions, when you step out of the world and you become set apart, the people around you are going to get used to come up against you to make you feel like what you are doing is wrong, what you are believing is crazy, what you think you're here to do is insane. They may begin to persecute you. The humans around you, right? The people around you who are not fully awake and aware, the people that do not have the discernment that you have, okay, are going to realize that you're changing, that something's different about you. You are now wanting to do different things that you have not wanted to do in the past. And when they realize that, they will be used by the darkness. This reality, this world, in this realm is extremely scripted. Okay, if you know, you know. If you don't, you're not going to understand what I'm saying. But you have to understand this place is being manipulated by principalities, by dark forces and wickedness in high places. And these people that get used join together. Anytime a chosen one wakes up, anytime somebody comes into the truth and becomes aware of the reality around them, okay, and they will do this and group up against you, even your friends, your family members, all these people, just so they can try to reject you or stop you or silence you and prevent you from achieving your ultimate purpose here, which is to enlighten people to the truth, wake people up to God, right? Expose things and help the soul awaken so they can be saved, right? Most of the world is pure illusion. It's a stage, it's manipulation, and the more aware you become, the more you're going to be hated, right? Like I said, this place is being manipulated by dark principalities and rulers and wickedness in high places more than ever before. It's happening now faster than ever with the development of technology, right? We see the influx of AI. We see all this mind control stuff, right? We see that our own government's holding literal meetings about mind control at this point. We've never seen this happen before. And we have to be awake and aware now more than ever. But this world still wants to keep people with wool over their eyes. Those who are not aware of the spiritual realm, the people who are in this world, right? They don't understand the spiritual laws. They don't understand spiritual rules. They're going to hate you. They're going to think you're weird. They're going to think you're crazy. And it's all because you have a deeper perspective on life. You take life seriously, right? You seek the truth. And a lot of people around you are not doing that right now. Even in the very last minute and hour and last days that we're in. The first time you experience someone actually mistreating you or treating you indifferently or rejecting you, 9 times out of 10, it's going to come from someone in your household. The Bible lets us know that our greatest adversaries are in our own home. So a lot of y'all, when you wake up to the truth, if you're awake now or you're coming into the truth, you need to be ready and prepared and have discernment for the enemy trying to use your family members, trying to use people closest to you. Okay, this is a guarantee to happen. It happened to pretty much everyone in the Bible, and you are told many different things by God on how to handle this. One of the ways is to leave your hometown, depart from your hometown, right? Pray for people from a distance, dust your feet, because these people are going to be used. And usually it's a sibling, it's a parent, it's even a child at times, you know. And the reason this is because the enemy wants to use something close to your heart to attack your faith, to try to stop you from doing what God wants you to do here. You know, the Bible lets us know time and time again that the greatest adversary will be in our house. It says that, you know, mother and daughter will fight, and son and brother, and all these people will become divided. The closer that you draw to Christ, the people around you, everything's going to sift itself out. And that's what God does, right? The more that you awaken and draw close to him, you're going to realize so many different things, right? And it can all come at you at once. You know, God will reveal things in due time, and it can be overwhelming. It can be very overwhelming. That's why I make these videos and I try to just break stuff down, let you know you're not alone. These are things that pretty much everyone's experiencing who's stepping into the truth, right? And how you can handle it and go about it. You know, a lot of people will leave your life. A lot of people start to ghost you, man. Your friends will switch up on you. All kinds of weird stuff will begin to happen the closer that you get to God. The reason why they leave, the reason why they may ghost you is because they notice you're changing. They notice you're not thinking the same. People say you switched up. You're not, you know, you're not the same person you used to be. You're not supposed to be. You know, you have been filled with his spirit. You've been filled with the Holy Ghost. You've been filled with discernment now. You have wisdom and insight. These are things that should be applauded and appreciated. But most of the time, people are just going to leave you or not want to speak to you anymore because you are now thinking deeper. You're not living for this flesh. You're not living for this world no more. You want conversations that actually hold weight. You know, are here with a purpose and a mission. And a lot of people don't take life seriously, or they don't care. You know, most people think that this life is 100 years, and I guess they don't stop to realize that there's a whole afterlife that we're all preparing for. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter what race you are. It doesn't matter none of that. What political party. Everyone is preparing for death. Everyone is going to experience a physical death and then meet Judgment Day, right? So the average person doesn't think too deeply on this nowadays. Or if they do think about the afterlife, they're in a spiritual deception, right? They're in a strong delusion. You know, you got the new age stuff, you got tarot, you got perverted truth, you have manifestation, you have so many different things out here in the spiritual community that's causing people to be deceived. So even the ones who are aware of spirituality and in the spiritual world and realm, they're deceived, and they're going to be used to persecute you, and they're not going to like you because you've been given a set of eyes to see and ears to hear by God, and there's nothing more that this world hates than that, right? The more knowledge you're given directly from God, the more you're going to be misunderstood and misperceived and judged by man, right? The more obedient you become to the knowledge you're given, to the wisdom you're given, and everything you're receiving, the less interesting you're going to become to this world. That's why people hate you. That's why people reject you. They think all kinds of stuff the closer you get to God. You know, the world is going to hate you and reject you the more that you put God first in your life. The goal is to simply get you to question God and question yourself. It's to get you outside of your purpose, right? That's why the darkness does all these different things to you. And it's to make you feel like you're weird or you're wrong for following the righteous path. You know, people that are deceived are going to view you as weird. People who still live for chaos in this world and drama and all this stuff are going to call you boring. These are things that come with it, and you have to learn how to embrace it and understand what's going on. You know, like I said, they want to control your subconscious mind. The beast system itself is after everyone's subconscious every single day. You know, they want everyone to do the same thing, wake up and think the same way, right? And move the same way, and not have a broader outlook on life, not have a greater mission or purpose or calling here. They want us simply feeding the flesh every day and paying attention to its agendas and its rules and what it expects of people. But see, God wants to set you apart. God is setting you apart. He wants you to come out of that. And the more that you do, this world will literally send agents your way. Demonic spirits and demonic spirits that inhabit people around you. The more that you don't comply, the more that you resist your flesh, the more that you reject the world and its ways, they're going to show you how they really feel about you. And sometimes it hurts. Like I said, it could be your closest. You know, you start to realize these people really don't care about your salvation, your soul, and your mission here in God. They can care less about all that. They just care about fleshly things. And this is when you start to separate yourself. This is when God will separate you. You know, a lot of people live for negative emotions, man. A lot of people live for the chaos and the drama, especially when you're consumed by the flesh and you don't have a relationship with Christ. People aren't taking their thoughts captive every day. People aren't realizing the war that's going on and how manipulated it is and how thorough it is out here, with everything being used against us. mentally, physically, emotionally, financially, so many spiritually, right? And you start to take notice of this stuff. And when you resist your flesh and you resist the ways of this world, the Bible lets us know that the devil will end up fleeing. So this could be another reason why people are ghosting you all of a sudden. You know, we can see it as rejection. It can hurt us. It can cause us to question things, but we should look at it as a blessing. We should look at it like God is doing the work that we can't do for ourselves at times by filtering people out of our life that are not meant to be in our life. One of the main things that I've focused on my 7-year, 8-year journey now is to take every thought captive. Now more than ever, a lot of people aren't realizing how under attack our minds are every day, how vicious it is with everything available to us, right? Too much of something is not good for you. And right now more than ever, everyone's on social media. Everyone is receiving whether it's, you know, true empowerment and knowledge or false knowledge and things to confuse us and things to get our minds jumbled up. So you need to learn to take every thought captive now more than ever. The reason this is because of the increase of deception. See, the world doesn't want you to do this. The world doesn't want you to have discernment. The world doesn't want you to be able to discern your thoughts, to realize what is God and what is not God, and who is of God and who isn't of God, and being able to move with wisdom now and insight and a new perspective. We got cell phones controlling everybody's mind and emotions out here. Everyone's comparing each other to themselves and all this stuff. And there's too much info being made available to us at times, which causes everyone to experience thousands of thoughts a day. The technology that's out, the brain mapping, the AI, the witchcraft that's being done, so much more high level stuff out here that's all manipulation is literally destroying people, man. It's literally influencing and affecting people faster than ever before. This is why we must take every thought captive. This is why we must take this walk as serious as we can. It's okay to have fun still. It's okay to be joyous. It's okay to enjoy your life here, right? But at the same time, we have to be very aware of what time we're in. The darkness does not like being seen right now, man. This is why they hate your awareness, okay? It does not want to be seen, but God is revealing the truth to all. He is pouring his spirit out, and he's giving people wisdom now more than ever because of how close we are to the end, right? We are in the world and not of it. He is setting people apart and revealing the world to people that he has set apart to equip them. You will realize that people are literally gone. People are not okay. Their mental health is in a very tragic state and condition. People's brains are fried. People are desensitized, y'all. And if you are not, this world is going to think something is wrong with you. They're going to say that you're weak for wanting to be kind, for wanting to have empathy, for being sensitive still, because these people are unaware. They're lacking knowledge and they're perishing due to the knowledge that they lack, or they understand and they love this world, okay? And you need to be very mindful of these kind of people around you as you're waking up, because I like to say that they're hacked characters in this game. These people are hacked by demonic entities. They're overtaken by their flesh, right? And or some of them don't even have full consciousness, okay? They're not fully aware of who they are. Subconsciously, consciously, they have been what the Bible calls cut off, right? Their consciousness is seared. They're not awake. And these people get used the most to try to stop you and persecute you. These people are a slave to sin still. They're a slave to this world. So when they encounter someone like you who is resisting the flesh, who is serving God and a slave to righteousness, you guys are not going to mix, right? Oil and water does not mix. So you may come up against many different problems in your life due to people not being fond of you being blessed spiritually, having eyes to see and ears to hear. You know, spiritual wickedness in high places and dark forces in this world don't like you because of that heightened awareness. You are not like the rest of the sheep. You're not out here being groomed and deceived. You're not living a life of, I want to please this world and people anymore. You know, you're not spiritually deceived. You're not spiritually dead anymore. Darkness doesn't like that. Darkness needs all people. Okay, this is an agenda for all. Satan wants to take every soul that he can, just like God wants to save every soul that he can. It's a war. They want us quiet about the truth. Okay, they're going to want you quiet about the truth. You guys have seen this time and time again, probably on thousands of different platforms, that you know, God is trying to speak through people or educate people through. They want to silence us. They want to keep your light dimmed at all costs and take you out of your purpose. Regardless, the closer you get to God, you are always going to shine for his name's sake. Okay, that's what I wrote down, and that is simply the truth. No matter how much persecution you're going through, no matter how bad people hate your purpose and what you're here to do, you are still going to shine bright in this world because of God, because of the purpose on your life. It is for his name's sake, and that's what frustrates people, right? Is God overrides everyone's emotions. God overrides this world and its ways and its agendas, and he's going to do that through you. And that is what causes people to feel a lot of negative emotions, is realizing that it's God's will over everything. It's God's purpose and plan for your life over everything else, even your own emotions, right? So people are going to not like what you're doing. They are going to be frustrated, and they're going to allow those thoughts and those emotions to overtake them, to cause them to persecute you. And sometimes it gets very dark, and you need to be very careful, because people are getting into witchcraft and treating it like it's normal nowadays to play with tarot, to play with voodoo dolls and Ouija boards and all of this stuff. People are making it more and more normal, right? It's more normalized now more than ever before, which is really sad. But these people will try to utilize this stuff to try to stop you, to try to come up against your purpose. They will try to literally influence you. They'll try to overwhelm you. They want to sleep deprive you, right? They want to intimidate you. They want to manipulate you at all costs. And the moment you pick up on this, the moment you have any kind of feeling going on, any kind of, quickening in your spirit that God's given you about a person, you need to learn how to put people in their place and cut them off and have boundaries for God, because these people can cause a lot of damage in your life. And unfortunately, the hardest, people to cut off are the ones that we have love for, the ones that we want to see saved, the ones we want to see do better, and the ones that we actually care about. But God commands us and lets us know to keep him first, his ways above all. And there's going to be a lot of different things you experience when you actually decide to put that into effect in your life. You're going to listen to what God's saying over what man is saying. You're going to listen to what God is saying over what your job is saying. You're going to listen to what God is saying over what anyone says to you. You're going to start to see what people actually feel towards you, right? You're going to see what people actually think about you and what you're doing here on this earth with Christ. Most people just want to control you, man. It's the sad reality here, but most people you encounter on your journey are just seeking some kind of control, whether it be through distraction, whether it be through, energetic means, reactions, all these different things. A lot of people just want you to comply with their agenda, with their perspective, with their belief system, with what they think about you. They want you to comply to the world's ways, the ideologies and thoughts of this world, the beliefs and the agendas of many, right, that are grouped up together here, that they're trying to push forth. You will start to see what others don't see, and you're going to start to feel what people have become numb to. The closer you get to Christ as well, he will soften your heart. He'll give you a new heart. He'll give you a new mind, right? The transforming is taking place. You'll start to see this world and all this world consists of at times. And yes, it can be overwhelming. You can see introspectively now, right? You have a very unique way of thinking as a person as it is. Everyone's individual. Everyone's an individual and everyone is unique. And God is going to use all of you, every part of you, every aspect of you to carry forth his purpose. They don't like when you start to think different. They don't like when you start to be transformed. Right? They don't want to see you draw close to Christ and God use that unique side of you, those unique aspects of you, to further advance the truth, to wake people up to what's going on here, right? And this can cause jealousy. It can cause envy, right? You have gifts. You may be talented. You may be good looking, whatever it is. God's going to use every aspect of you to push the truth, to save souls, to wake people up to the reality of what's going on here, and darkness doesn't like it. It makes people upset when they see blessings and favor on your life. They see talents and gifts. They see that you think different. You have a different mind. You're creative. You're all these different things. And with these things, you're choosing to still glorify God. You're choosing to still try to empower others, enlighten others, motivate other people. The darkness hates this more than anything else. You're going to be sought after by darkness, right? Satan and all of his minions and all of his demons are going to literally come after you as much as they can, because you are a big threat to not only, the system and the agendas, but all of Satan's plans here. Everything that he wants to do in your family and you as a vessel, you are a huge threat. The closer you draw to Christ, the more discernment you're given, the more you will be hated. Most people are surface level nowadays, man. Most people, like I said, are desensitized, and they only care about fitting in. They care about people pleasing and selfish gain and being accepted by their peers. They don't want to take a stand for the truth. And when they see you start to do that, they're going to think you're crazy or you're weird, right? And you need to just understand it comes with it. It's happened for 2,000 years. It's not going to change with you. Most people are going to remain surface, sadly. No matter what you reveal to them, no matter how much you try to enlighten them to the truth or wake them up to what's going on, you have to leave certain things in God's hands. They only live with the lens of this reality. Most people around you only have the 3D perspective here. They don't think too deep, man. They don't look, at a broader picture of life and realize that, like I said, we're all preparing for death. And there is a spiritual world and realm that is meshed with this one that we can't see every day. And AI and tech and all of this stuff I discussed, all these dark things, man, these entities being utilized, these demons, this technology, this sorcery, these people are trying to replicate the omnipresence of God on a thorough level. Okay, represent God and who he is and his gifting. God is omnipresent. Why do you think they want to make sure they can see us at all times now? More than ever before. Our phones are watching, Alexa's listening, this is listening, that's listening, you go outside, this. They're trying to replicate the omnipresence of God. Why do you think you can literally, more and more people are realizing that their cell phones are reading their minds? Literally. People are discussing this everywhere. I didn't even say anything out loud and the phone knew what I was thinking. How is this happening? Right? We're seeing all these data centers go up. We're seeing all of this stuff happen, right? Natural disasters everywhere. We're seeing the wars, the rumors of wars, everything that's been prophesied is starting to happen more and more every day, but people are still fast asleep. So guess what? They're going to hate that you are not. You are aware. You are being watchful, right? You're doing what God is telling you to do every day. He is pouring his spirit out and the veil is growing thinner. He's going to always reveal the truth to you and to people he gives, authority to and opportunity to, so they can educate others and make people aware, because at the end of the day, he wants to simply save the soul. He wants to make sure everybody has a relationship with him. But most people don't want it. Most people will hate you and hate him and reject you and reject him. Happens time and time again, and it can hurt us. A lot of people will not like you because they notice that God is with you. He is giving you favor. He is pushing blessings in your life. He is a loving father. He's a father that wants to protect us and do this for us. Most people don't want to see that for you. They don't like that God wants to bless you. They don't like that, God is using you as a light in whatever aspect he's using you in, whether it be broad, right, for the whole world to see, or just in your community or your workplace or your family environment. They want to manipulate you in this realm through the physical eye, and that can no longer happen the more that you get discernment given unto you by God. They want to use so many different things to influence us, y'all. We've been on this, it's just changed. It's gotten way scarier and worse than what it was at one point in time. Before it was advertisements, it was billboards, it was social media. Now we're seeing the AI development, the tech development aspect, people opening dark things up underground, smashing particles together, doing all kinds of research, doing all kinds of weird stuff out here with CERN and all this. If you know, you know. And it's all to hack the subconscious mind. This is why people are acting the way they're acting nowadays, man. You're wondering why people seem like they're zombies, or they're just, unaware or dumbed down or being used by darkness and operate in a certain way. You have to understand that people are literally being hacked and taken over by this system, by Satan in this world. It's done spiritually first and foremost. This is why we have to put the full armor of God on. You have to know how to pray the blood of Jesus. But the physical is ramping up and speeding up faster than ever due to the spiritual doors that have been opened. If you're aware and take notice, and see the things that people are blind to, and you want to have a conversation about these things, people are going to reject you. Yet again, they hate you because of what? That awareness you've been given. You have eyes to see. God is always speaking to you, whether it be in your dreams, whether in your waking state, whatever it is, through his word. You're noticing things across this world. It's not driving, or you're not letting these things drive your everyday life, but you are aware, you are watchful. That's what God instructs us to do and be. People don't want you to have awareness. People don't want you to be watchful. People don't want you to see the truth for what it is. You know, there's tech now that's being developed that, you know, literally takes over the mind, body, and the soul. You know, it replicates the voice of God. We have to be very discerning right now in the times we're in. There are spirits as well that replicate God and his voice. And that's been going on for 2,000 years. Okay, so you have to understand how deep this is. Not only the technology aspect and the things happening under the nose of everybody, but the spiritual aspect that's happening under the nose of everybody. And most people are unaware. That's why they get used, they get hacked to come up against you, because these demons, these principalities, these spirits, they know that you can see. They know that you're aware now. They know that you have been enlightened to the truth, and the darkness doesn't like that. So they're going to use the human vessels around you if those vessels are open, if they don't have a prayer life, if they're not taking this walk seriously, which most people aren't going to be, sadly. It's just the truth. The narcissists, the witches, the warlocks around you, they'll start to try to speak over your life, summon things over your life. They'll try to utilize people against you, right? To stop you, to make you quit drawing close to Christ, to make you shut up, to make you silent, so you don't educate people of the war that's going on and how badly it's affecting everyone on this planet. You know, and many people don't have any idea about what's going on the super thorough, in-depth, you know, depths of this stuff. A lot of people are still unaware, or a lot of people have heard of things and they know things, but they just chose ignorance. They chose to ignore it. They chose this world, so they don't care. You know, they don't like the gifted for this reason, because you care. You have empathy. Like I said, you are sensitive. You are not desensitized. You're sensitive to things that people are desensitized to. Especially the more you draw closer to Christ, he's going to heal your heart. He's going to give you a new heart. You're going to become a totally new person. People are not going to be able to recognize you. People are going to think you're fake. People are going to think all kinds of stuff out here, because they're not doing that daily work. You know, the more that you draw close to him as well, this is something that happens. Let me just speak this too. No matter what you do, the closer you draw to Christ, no matter how much you try to fit back into this world, you are going to become uninterested every single day. The closer you draw to Christ, you're not going to want to participate in anything of this world anymore. And that can make you feel like you're depressed, you're lonely, you're sad, right? Because you're starting to care less and less about the things of this world that people do the most for. Careers, jobs, all this different stuff, right? We're all seeing people starting to revolt and rebel against the system and his ways and what it calls life. You know, the closer that you draw to Christ, it's going to naturally happen. You're going to stop wanting pretty much everything you used to live for every day. You're going to change. You're not going to want the things that you used to want. You're not going to want to participate in the things that everybody's participating in. Your eyes are being set on eternity. You know, you're having that awareness given unto you. You're thinking about the afterlife. You're thinking about heaven. You're thinking about all these different things every day. And the Bible instructs us to do this. It says to meditate on the good things above. It says to walk in the Spirit. There's scriptures left and right to let us know that this is the right way to live. But people will make you feel wrong. They're going to make you feel wrong. The more that you choose the narrow road, they're going to make you feel like you are doing something wrong. But see, you're only wrong to a world that is literally living in deception and lies when you're in the truth. If you were of this world, it would embrace you. It would love you as its own. That's what the Bible lets us know. But since you're coming out the world, since you're rejecting the world, it's going to hate and reject you now. You know, this is why a lot of opportunities for chosen ones, for people who are set apart, or the connections that you may want, you feel like they're not there, or they're getting sabotaged. You know, you feel like you get robbed of your chances and your opportunities and all this stuff. It's not the truth, because 9 times out of 10, when that's happening in your life, God is literally just redirecting and protecting you from people, places, and things that are not going to serve you, that are not going to serve your purpose and his will in your life. We have to realize Agenda 2030 is in full effect, man. Those without knowledge, those without that awareness, those without eyes to see and ears to hear, they're going to be the first to take this mark. They're going to be the first people to be deceived into accepting a mark. you know, that's going to allow them to buy, sell, and trade, but ultimately it's going to surrender their soul to the afterlife, to a place that none of us should want to go and dwell in, which is hell, man. And it's just the truth. They're going to be the first people to turn against you. The system is going to hack these people. The demons, the witches, the warlocks, the narcissists, Satan himself are going to use these people all around you to get you to feel rejected, man. To make you feel like you are wrong. To make you quit and stop speaking and enlightening people and questioning, you know, the reality of what's going on here. People think that they're smarter than God. They're bigger than God at times as well in the darkness. You know, he sees the hearts of everybody, man. He sees everybody around you. He knows the thoughts and the intentions of people, whether that person is wicked or righteous. He can see all. He knows all. He's the beginning to the end. You know, so when people around you realize you're no longer asleep, you ain't unaware no more, you're not deceived to the games and the lies and the manipulation that's going on. You know, there's 3 things that they'll do. And this is the end of the video. I know this one's kind of long, but there's 3 things that these people are going to do to you, okay? And you need to understand that it is a part of the journey. It's a part of the process. It's a part of your awakening and what God is doing through you. When they realize that you aren't being manipulated anymore, you're not deceived, the first thing they're going to do is monitor you, man. This is when you start noticing people monitoring you, acting weird, watching you, studying you, looking at you weird in public, giving you certain, you know, certain energy they're sending towards you, and things that you're picking up on. You know, you start realizing gang stalking may be happening to you. That's what it's known as, right? And they don't want you to be aware of that even, but a lot of people are speaking up about it now. They're realizing that, yes, people are being weird and watching me now that I'm getting closer to God. People are being intrusive and invasive, and they're trying to get into my life, but they weren't doing this prior to me taking my walk seriously with Christ. You know, so they're going to send monitoring spirits your way. You know, ultimately it's a spiritual thing. These people are hosts. They're being used, right, to try to keep tabs on you so they can try to set up traps and block you and stop what God is doing. But God is bigger than all of it. The second thing they're going to do is use, you know, people who are in darkness to come up against you with witchcraft, sorcery, lies, smear campaigns, all kinds of stuff. So people in this matrix go against you. So people who are still deceived perceive you a certain way, which is in the wrong light. They don't want these people listening to us, y'all. They don't want nobody listening to what we have to say. This is why they try to paint you out as crazy. The reason it is a direct attack on God's purpose in your life. It's not just an attack on you. It's an attack on his purpose through you, which is to wake people up to the truth, to point people back to Christ, to enlighten them to many different things that's going on here so they become aware and they don't perish anymore. This is why they run a smear campaign. They do witchcraft. They start to monitor you. You know, they try to overwhelm you and come up against you with many different things. And people, is because they don't want you to wake others up. They need people to stay asleep. They need people to remain in cages and in chains. That's in bondage mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. So they want to silence anybody who's speaking up, who's being bold for God, who has been through things and isn't afraid to speak on these things or have conversations about it. You know, the reason that it's happening, like I said, is because they don't want nobody to become aware. So they're going to have to paint you out to be crazy. They're going to have to zone in on your flaws and your mistakes or who you were before Christ, whatever they can do to influence people around you to not listen to you, to not take you serious, to not support what you're saying, to not hear what you're saying so they can wake up to the truth. You know, that's why I did a song recently called They Need to Worry About Their Own Life and Their Walk with Christ, because it's the truth. The enemy doesn't want people getting close to God, drawing close to him in pureness with a personal relationship. The enemy wants people focused on you, but for the wrong reason. Not to hear you out and not to be inspired or motivated to draw closer to Christ for themselves. No, it's to, you know, stalk you, obsess over you, to try to harass you and want you to be consumed by all of the negative attention and light that may come your way from stepping into the truth. You know, the enemy doesn't want nobody going within, being empowered, understanding who they are and why they are here. It's to the point where people are abusing their power so bad, okay, that they're using this tech, like I said. They're using their spiritual gifts, their knowledge, for the wrong reasons. Instead of using it to enlighten people, push people into the truth and pray and all this great stuff, no, they use it to manipulate, to control, to dominate, right? To dictate your life. A narcissist wants to become God in your life. You know, a lot of people around you also, when they realize you're walking with Christ, won't give you no grace because they know you're open about your faith now. They know you believe in Christ, so they put a microscope over your life, right? They expect grace, but they don't give you no grace. That's going to happen to you all the time. You know, how are people expecting grace, but they don't want to give any? It's a golden rule. It's also looking within. It's also looking in that mirror, acknowledging where you're flawed at every day with God, you know, and doing your best to just help people how you can and where you can. But see, they want to put a microscope over your mistakes and your flaws and all this stuff because now you're open about your relationship with God. Don't stay around these kind of people who want to remind you constantly of who you were before Christ, your mistakes when you do fall short, your flaws. They want to dwell on these things. They want to make fun of these things. They want to try to humiliate you and stop you. They want to focus on your flaws, your past, your mistakes, everything you may be working through with Christ currently, instead of the good things of God, instead of the positive things, right? They want to continuously live in a cycle of shame, guilt, fear, and all of this other stuff, condemnation. You know, people are going to be used around you to do this. And don't be around other people for too long at all that do not see your vision, that do not see your purpose, that do not see the calling and the vision for Christ. You can't just dwell around these people, man. You can't just stay around them because you literally will become who you keep your company with. It's just a fact. Bad company corrupts good character. It's the truth. I've lived it. I haven't just heard it. I've lived it. Right? So you need to be very mindful of that. The moment you take notice that people are not on the same page as you, pray to God, ask God to help you, you know, get rid of people in your life that are not supposed to be in your life, that are not going to push his purpose in your life. You have to pray about these things and take heed. People won't like you for this because you're aware now, right? They're going to say you switched up, you're different, you're acting funny, oh, you think you're better, all these different things. It's not the truth. You are putting Christ first, and he is literally organizing and ordering your steps every day. And some people are not going to like how that looks for your life. You're not here to please them, though. You're here to please God. You know, a lot of communities, man, get involved in and participate in this, and they group up against you. They'll try to exile you. They'll try to make you the scapegoat. They'll start spreading gossip and rumors in your workplace and in your community, your neighborhood, right? So people look at you a certain way and they don't hear what you have to say. If God has called you to speak, if God has called you to teach, if God has called you to create, they want people to perceive you the wrong way. You know, they'll do demonic things out here, man, just to stop you to accomplish their goal in your life. They will do witchcraft. They will summon spirits. They'll speak negatively against you. They'll start lies and smear campaigns and rumors and gossip. They want to make you go crazy. They want to make you give up on your life. They want your purpose to be put out, your light to be put out. And they'll use communities to do this. This is known as spiritual mobbing, right? Gang stalking, whatever you want to label it as, it happens, okay? Community watch groups, all of this stuff is a real thing, especially with the agendas being pushed right now. Everyone's under a microscope. Some people are just under it more heavy than others, especially the ones like you who are in the truth, who have that awareness. They're going to watch you. They're going to monitor you. They're going to use whoever and however many people they can. Because that's how serious it is. That's how powerful you are with Christ. You know, the more you reject the world and its characters, right? The people in the game, when you realize that it is a game, that Satan is playing with people, and God wants to pull you outside of his game, and you start to realize, man, this is all crazy and people are so deceived out here. Those eyes start getting put on you. Them ears start opening up. Now they'll try to, you know, join you after all the other stuff hasn't worked. When they realize, man, the rejection ain't working, you still going for Christ. Man, this didn't work. They're still going. They out here still speaking the truth. They out here still seeking God. Well, this didn't work. Communities will start to realize this. People around you, family, friends, will start to realize that you are not surrendering, you are not bowing, and you are walking with God. So they'll try to join you. You have to have discernment for this. Pray to God about every person in your life every day. Because when they realize they can't deceive you no more, they realize they can't manipulate you, they realize, man, we can't defeat this person, then they'll try to join you. Guess who else did this? Satan. He did the same thing to Christ on the mountaintop, y'all. He was trying to get him to bow down to him and basically join his team, you know, to come out of his purpose and his power. Satan was revealing his power to Jesus, not realizing that Jesus was God alive in the flesh, or he was, you know, very aware of it, and he was still trying to manipulate him. This happens in your life. People will realize that you have discernment. People know you're aware. People know your power and your purpose here, and they'll still have the audacity to try to, you know, get you deceived, get you to join the wrong team, get you to join the wrong crowd, get you to go the wrong way. And you're going to start to notice it, man. The more that you get, you know, these things given unto you. Like I said, this video is very thorough. I'm going over pretty much the entire spiritual awakening. You may notice an influx of interest of new people or past people coming into your life, you know, giving you attention you've never received before. Take heed to that. Don't take that as always a blessing, because you have to understand Satan is crafty. Satan is smart. He's wise. He sends people in to get close to you, to deceive you, to hurt you. They don't want you following God and remaining set apart. They don't want you interested in the afterlife and in the eternity, you know, in eternity and in the things above. They want you focused on this world. This is why it happens to everyone who's chosen, man. It's a default setting that I feel like this matrix has. It's literally send in agents, send distractions, send attacks, control the subconscious, dim people's light, attack their confidence, do this, do that. The devil has always sent agents to distract, to tempt, and to, you know, destroy God's people away from their strengths, their mission, their purpose, their peace, their calling. We see it with Samson. We see it with Jesus. We see it with Solomon. All of these people faced opposition and faced people coming up against them on a thorough level due to who they were and their eyes and their ears and their purpose. It's done to get you out of that power with Christ. You have to understand how powerful you are and how potent your energy is when you start to truly walk with Christ and regard him every day and have a relationship with him every day. When they have your energy, when this world and people around you can obtain your energy, they have power now, right? If they can simply get your focus, if they can simply get a hold of your subconscious and get some energy, you have to understand how powerful that is as a chosen vessel. That is why you are sought after more than others at times. You feel like your warfare is more intense than the average person, right? It's because you have the power through Christ. Energy is the purest and highest form of currency. That's why it's always under attack. You can literally fuel reality with your focus. You can fuel this matrix and your reality with your focus every day. What are you deciding to give time to? What are you deciding to give energy to? Is it negative things? Is it things of this world? Is it the chaos they want to feed you, the fear they want to feed you? Is it this? Is it that? Or are you giving your energy, time, and focus to the Most High? Right? You can deprive this flesh in this matrix by simply not focusing on it. Right? Don't give it any attention or energy. People who are negative, people who are trying to keep you in a low vibrational state, people who are trying to feed you garbage every day, do not focus on it. Right? Starve these people out, and you will begin to see what lives within them and why they're acting this way. You will start to awaken to the spiritual world and war that is going on. If you decide to take that focus away from anything that no longer serves your highest purpose, God's purpose in your life, the world and the devil is going to be alerted, and it knows, and it's going to send people your way. They do not want you to achieve your highest form and your purest form and your purpose here. The world knows, the devil knows, that if it can gain the focus of a chosen vessel, okay, if it can use someone around you to get you deceived, it has power now. Way more power than it could have if it didn't have that over your life. That's why there's a constant battle going on. People from your past coming back in. New people being sent in. This thing trying to get your attention. That distraction trying to get your attention. It's after your energy and your focus. You know, it's way more potent to have the focus of a chosen vessel than it is someone who is just blind to reality still. It is way more potent for the enemy to get your focus on what he's doing and what he is using people to do in your life than it is compared to someone he's already got deceived. Somebody who still is in the world and can't see how you see or know what you know or think how you think or what your purpose is. This is why they're constantly after your focus, your energy. It can be exhausting, you know, Because when you feel that pressure and you feel that weight and you realize, man, some people are acting funny towards me, I'm realizing I'm monitoring, my family switched up, the workplace is treating me like this is happening, it starts to weigh on you, right? And the world wants to influence you away from Christ. It wants to make you feel weary and weak when this starts to happen to you. You know, like I said, the devil wants to use your closest. This is why you have to keep boundaries up, man. You have to ask for discernment. You can only surround yourself with people who are like-minded, who have the same exact understanding and understanding of what we are doing here as souls, first and foremost. And we have to understand the things of God, right? If you want to be around us, you have to realize the depths of it and what it consists of. And if you don't, I will pray, but I have to keep my boundaries up because I understand what time we're in. They won't like that you move like that. You take your walk with Christ serious. You're not here to play games like this world is. You know, your gifts, your sensitivity, everything that you're doing and you're setting in place in your life is going to frustrate these people and cause them to attack you. It wants influence. It wants real estate in your life. That's what darkness craves. You know, this is why they constantly are trying to go after our brain. They want to fry our brain receptors. They want to overwhelm us with chemicals and distractions every which way we look. Our nervous system's under attack. The darkness will do whatever it can to get your focus, your mind, your heart, and it ultimately wants your soul, but that can't happen because you are sealed with Christ. You are sealed by the blood. You know, so when you walk with God, you are covered. That is something that frustrates darkness as well. You know, you are covered in his grace, his mercy, and his blood. Especially if you have an active prayer life every day. This frustrates the darkness more than anything else because these people set traps. They move with evil intention, meaning they are purposely evil towards you to try to get you distracted and set up and stopped out here. You know, and they don't like that God meets you with mercy and grace every time. God is always with you, no matter if you fall or if you're doing great, he is with you. That frustrates the darkness because it's his power, it's his love, it's his grace, it's his mercy, it's the true power and anointing here on this planet that people have received from God that frustrates people. You know, they realize that you are not like everyone else. You are not like the sheep. You will not be flawless. You are not perfect. Yes, you're going to fall, but when you do, guess what? You get up 7 times. The darkness doesn't want you getting up. Doesn't want you to remain seeking the truth and remain faithful to God, even if you are falling short, even if you are facing very strong battles at times and very, you know, strenuous seasons in your life. The flesh is constantly going to be at battle with you as well, which makes you feel like you're being attacked. This is something I learned. The more you draw closer to Christ, you're going to feel like your own flesh is attacking you every day because it's craving things that are not of God. And you are becoming more aware to God's ways and you know, what he expects of you every day or what he instructs us to live like every day. So when your flesh is being itself and it starts to crave things that are ungodly, the closer you draw to Christ, the more you're going to notice it and you may misperceive it. Because yes, witchcraft is real. Yes, demons are real. Yes, all of this stuff we've discussed in this video is very real, but we have to also remember we're wrapped in flesh. You know, sometimes your flesh can just be throwing a fit and craving something and you can see it as, oh man, someone's doing witchcraft, or oh wow, I may have a demon. That's not the truth. Your flesh is just being your flesh. You have to crucify it. You have to take every thought captive. You have to realize, you know, and separate yourself, right, in this physical vessel from your spirit and realize that there's a war going on. They don't like when you're able to do this. Most people aren't thinking like this, y'all. Most people don't have this kind of discernment. Most people don't take this seriously. They just think it's crazy talk. They don't even realize they're a spiritual being. They don't have full awareness of what's going on. You know, a lot of these people are seared, they're reprobated, they're cut off. Those are the people who are going to be used the most. You know, religious people especially, because you start talking spiritual things, and that's what happened back in the day. Jesus was moving in miracles, right, and in spiritual power and authority, and it frustrated the religious, caused them to come up against them, you know. But like I said, you have to understand not everything is always super dark and deep at times. Sometimes it can just simply be your flesh being stupid. Your flesh wants everything that is against God. Right? And you can notice it the more you draw closer to Christ. You're going to realize it because you realize, man, I want to serve and please God now. and your flesh is craving this and that, and you're having negative emotions or bombarding thoughts and intrusive thoughts and stuff like that, and you could feel like, man, maybe this is, something demonic. But at the end of the day, it could just be your flesh. Continue to pray. Ask God to reveal what it is. Seek his face, because everybody's different. We can't do a one size fits all. People are out here breaking bloodline curses. People grew up differently than others. Other people have experienced things that you have yet to experience. You've experienced things that I have yet to experience. So we have to stay in constant prayer and communication with God. Seek the truth and don't let the world blind you or distract you no matter what. Continue to stay in active communication with God. Continue to stay close to God. Understand that the world does not like your awareness. As you draw closer to the truth more than anything else, it does not like your voice. It does not like your awareness, your peace, and your joy, and your purpose here ultimately. Pray for yourself. Pray for your brothers and your sisters. If you made it to the end, I'm sorry for this video almost being an hour long. There's a lot here, but hopefully something I've said in this video has helped you in some kind of way, shape, or form. If it did, please hit the like button. Please leave comments down below. HiddenHills4.com. All updates on the new album over there and paintings and all that good stuff. Please turn the notification bell on, like I said, because the Hidden Hills albums are coming out again. They're being re-released, and I'm very thankful and grateful. I know a lot of y'all are going to be happy to hear this, and hopefully you guys support it on those platforms. I'm an independent artist, so I need all the support I can get, especially with the music I make and what I speak in my music, the truth that I reveal through my music, the power that it has. I need all the support I can get. So if you like Spotify, if you like Apple Music, if you use these things every day, whether you're, like I said, working out, walking, running, driving, whatever it is you're doing out here, man, please go follow me on those platforms and stream my music over there. I love you guys so much. Thank you for sitting through an hour video with me of just pure talking. Shout out to everybody out there again, man. Until next time, you already know what it is. I'm off of here.